Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today we are up in Grimsby, going to a conservation area. We are in the parking lot right now. We're going to hike over on the trail, and I believe it meets up with the Bruce Trail to then take you all the way over to the Grimsby. I believe it's the lookout point. Today is just a camera and hiking day. While I've been busy with work, especially editing videos, I've been noticing that I've been staring at screens too much, and I need to spend more time outdoors actually trying to find the compositions and actually putting in the work, as I enjoy the process of photography more than anything, picking a location, looking around, seeing what kind of compositions I can find, and then kind of throwing all that out the window, because as soon as you show up, the weather can change or any other variables might change, and bang, we're doing something new. So grab my bag, get everything ready, and we'll head out of here in a few minutes. Talk to you guys in a bit. I've never tried this specific trail before, leading on from the Bruce Trail. So what I thought is we'd come up today, go out for a hike. I've been editing videos and doing a bunch of emails and other stuff for work, and I've been kind of getting just sick of staring and sitting on my behind. So I figured we're gonna come down, we're gonna go on a hike somewhere and hopefully find some amazing fall compositions. And if not, at least we have the scenery today. Kind of it's already lifting my mood. While I was walking down, I found this little, I think they're light blue, maybe lilac colored flowers here. And some of them have different colors, like there's a bit more purple in it, and you see the red in the trees behind that. I think there may be a photograph here. I just don't really know where or what I'm looking at. I was thinking maybe another low angle thing again, but I did that last week. I don't know if I really want to keep copying myself every week. And especially right now, we're getting a bit of light. Just starting to hit the top of the trees. But there is a lot of wind, as I'm sure you can see. The trees are just absolutely whipping back and forth. I don't know if I'd be able to, well, I would have to bump up the ISO in order to freeze all this, as there is still a bit of motion. And I feel like today I have no motivation to pull my camera out. So it's gonna be a long day of hiking. It is very messy and chaotic though. But if I'm able to just isolate the blue by itself, it does look a little bit interesting. But I'm gonna keep hiking. All right. Well, while we were hiking down the trail, I descended into this little rock quarry area, and I see the wall of rocks right behind this red, I think it's a maple tree. So I don't know why, but I just kind of saw this and I kept thinking rock on maple leafs, even though the Toronto Maple Leafs just suck. But sports analogies aside, I think we might be able to frame this up. And on the ground, kind of in front of it, you see a bunch of red leaves just everywhere. And the majority of the trees around here are already starting to lose most of their leaves, except for that one. And that's kind of what drew me into it. Now, the wind is gonna be really annoying, so we're gonna have to bust out the tripod and everything. Oh, well. Normally I usually cut this stuff out as I'm hiking around, but I'm not quite sure which angle to make this work at right now. I'm kind of envisioning a vertical orientation just to try to get in a bit more of the foreground elements. But the rocks and the leaves I can definitely see, but everything else around it just kind of, I don't know, it doesn't really add too much to it. Like we have dead branches over there. This composition is a little bit tricky. There's only so many spots on the ground that I have that's actually a clear straight angle on towards it. As on the right side, there is too many twigs and other dead leaves that are not quite as appealing. But the left side, there is a little bit of a gap before you get to the green leaves. So we have to make sure that it's perfectly balanced as a composition. As there is, the light is starting to come down now, but here it's still very deep shadows. So it will very much so stand out if the composition is not perfect. Now, we have to wait for the wind to die down so I can actually get a picture of them without the leaves shaking. Right. So I've kind of framed up the composition. I don't know if I like this one or not. At first I thought I saw something a little bit different. Now that I'm framing it up, I'll bring it in and show you guys. All right, so the leaves have stopped moving so much. I'm trying to take more pictures of it. Now, here is the composition as we have it framed up. You can see how there's just a little bit of barren patch over here on the left side. And then almost right down the center of the frame, you see all the leaves over here on this side. So it's not so much negative space as so much that it is just sort of bland and just empty. Nothing really interesting is happening there. Just all the rocks and everything that are just over here on this side. You see how the deep reddish color and the tree going all the way up to the corner. So the tree is almost perfectly framed up, as everything else on the right side of it is just absolutely atrocious. Now the left side, there is a little bit of space before you get over to the evergreens, but this space on this side over here, it absolutely sort of detracts from the image. So what we're going to try to do is recompose, trying to put it in the center of the frame almost. And instead of having it too much of the backdrop, we're going to try to incorporate the sky as well as the trees around it. Just for shits and giggles, let's see what happens. And try to frame up the tree almost completely. Because I introduced the sky into the picture, I'm now having to compensate my exposure by 1 under, as that way it helps to darken down the sky, as from the backdrop of this side, there aren't very many clouds and it is quite blue. So we're gonna darken down the exposure just a little bit. And right now the leaves aren't moving too much, so hopefully this should be perfect. So there is a large amount of wind picking up now, and the camera, because I'm at full extension right now, it is shaking, just shaking like hell. So I'm having to switch it now to 10-second timer again, just to give me at least a hope of kind of stopping it. But let's see how this looks. Yeah, I don't know. So we stopped for our very first picture. It did catch my eye, how you see the red kind of sticking out from the rock face, and then you see the green evergreens and the dead leaves over here, and some of the browns and a bit more greenish colors that haven't fully changed yet. Although after composing it and framing it up, I've tried to take a few different angles of it, and unfortunately it's just the left side of the picture. There is just too much negative space. Even though the ground is kind of sloping into it and kind of like leads you up it, almost like stairs, there's just too much of the negative space on the left-hand side, and it sort of draws your eye away from the composition, kind of almost acting as too much of a distraction. As you see the tree, you see the rock face, but then you just see this giant gap with a few dead leaves on the ground. So I'm gonna look at it in editing, but I don't think this is a great photograph. More than likely, I may not even put it in the video, but who knows? I'm gonna take this stuff all down though, and let's get moseying on. Well, a lot of people must have had good amounts of parties over here. There's broken beer bottles everywhere. You bring the shit in with you, you can't bring it back out. It's even lighter, you've gotten rid of most of the liquid by pissing it out everywhere. Wow, what a view. Holy cow. We are going to have a pano. So I have the tripod base leveled as well as the head leveled, and I'm able to swivel around right now. So I'm just checking the scene out with my histogram, making sure there's gonna be nothing that catches me by surprise. Well, no highlights blown out, nothing kind of coming down that shouldn't be there. But most importantly, make sure you check around for all of the trees and everything else around. Make sure nothing is sticking into the frame that you don't want to be there. So we're doing a vertical, probably a 5 or 6 shot pano. And unfortunately, one of the main subjects that's gonna be in front of us is I think it's a QEW. So unfortunately, we're gonna have a highway with many vehicles driving by. But thankfully, because it's a bit brighter out right now, we are already up to 1/60th of a second. So we have our marker shot. Now we're gonna do probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 shot pano. And then we're gonna merge them all together and make a beautiful panorama of the city of, I guess this is Grimsby mostly. And kind of in front of us, you're gonna see a Sobeys, a beer store, a Canadian Tire, a bunch of apartment complexes, industrial warehouses, as well as cell phone towers too. I don't know if I'm gonna clone out these ones, but there is a haze in the backdrop and you can just see Toronto and some of the cities going along over there. I'm also gonna get one more photograph right now of the, I think it's Canadian Tire, Sobeys, and the beer store. Just all 3 of those are in a perfect strip mall. So I'm just punching in right now to the 80 millimeters and I'm filling the frame almost completely with them. And that's perfect. All right. Well, that was an amazing day of photography. The first probably 3/4 of the day, I really wasn't feeling it and I was pretty much ready to say, fuck it, we're going home. However, once I came around just a little bit of a corner and I saw just this beautiful vista in front of me, it kind of almost transfixes you, and I had to stop and capture this image. It just looked too perfect. So I tried going around, trying to change my composition. Didn't really make that much of a difference up here because unfortunately there's very narrow pathways and you're very socked in by trees. But that's okay. Today was a beautiful day of photography and I'm very impressed with this panel with how the sunlight is just harshly banging down on it. The only thing I'm not crazy about, and I did try to remove as much of it as I could, and that of course is the sky right now. Oh, all right. Well, if you guys enjoyed the video today, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys again next week.